Okay, this video is going to be to go over setting up the Krish vector for firing and the procedure of what you should do before you load and shoot the gun. So the initial inspection, you should first of all make sure the gun is clear, charge it back, use the bolt lock to lock it to the rear. Once it is found that it is clear, drop your bolt. Now you can push out your push pins. This front one generally comes out easier. Use that now as a tool to push out the rest. And we're just going to do a very basic inspection and then lubrication to prepare for shooting. So as you can see, the upper just pulls off of the lower then will be separated, the bolt and slider. This is your basic field strip. So on the actual lower, you can take a bottle of oil, recommend wiping out whatever lubricant is in the gun so that you can reapply whatever lubricant you guys have on hand. We prefer Slip 2000 products, but any lubricant meant for guns should be fine. We do not recommend grease, we recommend oil. You're going to want to oil inside this track here. This is where the bolt's going to ride. It's on each side. Go ahead and do it on both sides. And then lubricate this back track here. This is where the slider rides inside the gun. Your ejector is here. Just want to make sure that that has a nice crisp, clean corner. And then your bolt lock trigger is down on the inside here. You want to make sure that that's moving freely. As you move that, you should see your bolt lock actually move, and then make sure that your mag catch is also moving freely. And you've already charged the weapon to open it up, but just make sure your charging handle is also moving smoothly and freely. If it doesn't have grease on it, you can apply oil. That's just your basic maintenance for the firearm. The bolt and slider here, the bolt turns 90 degrees to remove from the slider. Make sure that when you reinstall it into the slider, you take the bolt, you insert it 90 degrees, and you always want to turn it so that the bolt is up on top like this. You want the extractor to face down. This is the bottom of your slider. Your bolt should face the bottom, All right. Now to oil and lubricate this, again, wipe off any existing oil, re-lubricate right around this lug on top, front and back, and then oil all the lugs of the bolt. And then you can put a little bit of oil on the actual slider track and then run a bead of oil down the slider guide rod / spring there. Function check on the slider is to just push it down. It should move relatively smoothly. You will hear and feel the spring as it's rubbing on the guide rod. And the bolt itself, you can check that the extractor moves freely. It's going to be stiff. And then your firing pin should also move freely and protrude from the bolt face. The only other thing that can be oiled or lubricated at all is the fire control group here. I always run a bead of oil across the entire front of the hammer here. That's going to get your burst cam and your hammer. And then underneath your hammer, if you need to release your hammer, you have to push on the auto sear, which is to the left of the hammer. It looks like a little triangle. It'll pop and release itself, and then you can ease down the hammer with a finger. Don't just let it snap. It'll smack the ejection port and cause damage. Put a little bit of oil on the hammer shelf itself, and then right in front of the hammer is the burst disconnect and the actual semi disconnect, and then you have, again, the triangle shape that's sticking up is your auto sear. Go ahead and put oil on all those points. And then you can just push your hammer back down and then reinsert your bolt and slider. Bolt rides in the front track, slider rides in the rear. So guide the bolt lugs into the front track, the slider lug into the rear, push it back together. Put your front pin in the slider. Now put the lower and upper back together. You're going to have to guide your nose piece here into the front of the lower. I always like to watch the two ears here on the back of the lower, put them into the upper, and let them guide it in. Then reinsert your push pins. They can go in from either direction. This is just the way we set it up from the factory. Now your gun is back, ready to go, and you can take it to the range and shoot it. If you want to add a vertical grip to it before shooting full auto, it's highly recommended to get more stability out of the gun while you're shooting. But that is setting up the gun for firing.